Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. For those of you who don't know, I started Grumpy Old Fart to express my political and social opinions and to say things that I felt needed to be said. Unfortunately, YouTube started giving me strikes. As a hedge against this happening, I've created backup YouTube channels, Grumpy Old Gamer and Grumpy Old Ufologist. I also created a channel called Grumpy Old Fart over on Rumble, a free speech alternative to YouTube. You can find all of my stuff there, including my political opinion and current events. The link to my Rumble channel, as well as links to let you order my books, are in the description of this video. If you enjoy my content, please like, subscribe, share, and comment. I welcome your comments, even if you disagree with me. Now, on with the video. Hey there, Grumpy Old Fart here. This is a continuation of Bill's game from the story Gold Fever. I'm still getting over that cold, my voice is scratchy, and I may break out into a cough. I apologize in advance, please bear with me. As you recall, Matt and I had come away from that gold mine with just over $8,000 each. We were loaded, man, we were quite happy. We decided to head south into the New Mexico territory and try to purchase land for ranches. We sold our mules and horses and bought train tickets to Trinidad, which is, by the way, at the time was as far as the train went. Our plans were to buy fresh horses there and take Wooten's Pass through the mountains to Willow Springs, currently known as Raton. We made it to Trinidad and found a guy willing to sell us a couple of really good horses. We outfitted ourselves and headed south. Wooten's Pass was a huge toll booth. Uncle Wooten, he was affectionately called Uncle Wooten, made a killing charging tolls for everyone that passed through his gates. There wasn't a cowboy, politician, soldier, outlaw, businessman, lawman, or hobo who didn't pay the toll. We weren't worried about it because we were loaded. We were good. We arrived at the gate and realized immediately that something was wrong. There were a dozen soldiers camped at the gate, and the only civilians we saw were an old woman and a young girl. Excuse me. I hate being sick, I just hate it. Anyway, so we saw these soldiers, and only people we saw that were civilians were an old woman and a young girl. Rather than pass through immediately, we turned our horses to the hitching rail and went inside the saloon. At a table sat a sergeant and a lieutenant, and they were watching us real close. The young girl, about 16 or so, was hitting on Matt really hard, trying to get him to go in the back with her. And of course Matt was having none of it because she was underage. Then the old woman motioned him into the back as well. At that point, we figured out they wanted to talk to us away from the soldiers. Matt went with them into the back, and I stayed at the bar. I figured I'd keep an eye on the soldiers. I'd ordered a bottle of whiskey, so I poured myself a drink and lit a cheroot. The sergeant came over and started asking me questions. Who I was, where I was, where I was coming from, where I was headed, who my friend was, etc. I just shrugged at each question, not wanting to give any answers. And frankly, it wasn't none of his damn business, so... Then the officer walked over and asked, "Are you deaf or mute? Answer the questions." My reply was, "None of that stuff is any of your business." They got pissed. The sergeant drew a knife and put it to my back. I dumped my drink down the lieutenant's shirt. He stepped back reflectively, so, in reflex he stepped back. So I put my cheroot on his alcohol-stained shirt and he went up. He immediately went up in flames. The sergeant tried to move around me to help him, and I tripped him. When he went down, before he could get up, I put my pistol barrel right to his nose, and basically his eyes bulged because, I had him. The lieutenant got his shirt off, and I covered them both. When Matt came back, we tied them up and gagged them. Matt explained that they were not soldiers. They'd stolen the uniforms and were posing as soldiers to head back north up to Trinidad to rob the cattleman's bank. There were 11 more outside and one upstairs holding Uncle Wooten hostage. The women begged us to help them. We knew we didn't have much time before the lieutenant and sergeant would be missed, so we had to act fast. Matt pulled 4 sticks of dynamite out from under his jacket, and I honestly don't know where he got them. He may have had them since the mine, for all I know. He put them in a cast iron pot. He wrapped them in oilcloth and put them in this pot, and he spooned about an inch of stew on top of them. Then he put the lid back on the pot. He had the girl take it out to the camp and put it on the fire, instructing he told her to tell them that she'd be out shortly to serve them. So she put it on the fire, turned, and left. We went up and waited outside the door to the room where they had Uncle Wooten hostage. Wasn't long before that dynamite turned the cast iron pot into shrapnel. When it blew, we charged in and killed the one guarding Uncle Wooten. From the window we saw that the improvised mine had killed most of the outlaws. One was trying to get on his horse while another was staggering around. We shot and killed them both. Wooten repaired the telegraph and sent for the U.S. Marshal. We paid for rooms and stayed the night. Mrs. Wooten made us a fine meal. She was quite happy with us. The next day we saddled up and started to head out. Uncle Wooten charged us 50 cents each to go through the gate. He still charged us toll to go through the pass. Ay, ay, ay. Honestly, what's a guy got to do to catch a break? You got to give him. Got to give it to him. He was true to his convictions. Everybody paid. You folks have a good day. God bless one and all.